Hey, wow, did not expect that many people to actually watch that last video that I made or respond to it or reach out to me. Thank you. I wanted to add one more quick point since I was talking about awareness, and I kind of alluded to this point, but just kind of wanted to touch on it really quickly. Because I thought, even if somebody watches this video and they have every single symptom that I did, and they go to their doctor wanting to be reassured, and their doctor sits down and says, no, it doesn't exist. You don't have Lyme. I've been told that until I was told that I had Lyme. And so it's really important to create this awareness, to start talking about it. Obviously, Lyme is an inflammatory disease. Not all inflammation is Lyme disease. All Lyme disease is inflammation, though. Again, one of the things that makes it hard to diagnose. But if there isn't an awareness yet for the disease in the medical community, if people aren't talking about it, people don't know what it is, people don't know how to treat it, how are we going to get diagnosed? I mean, at this point, really, once you go late stage, the only way that you're going to find it is if you pay to leave Canada to go and get diagnosed, where, once you leave that magical Canadian border, then Lyme suddenly does exist in a chronic form. Or you go to a holistic practitioner or somebody who specializes in Lyme. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I won the doctor lottery. I found somebody who could actually find my Lyme and could actually treat me. But it really made me stop and think, what about the single mom who has every single symptom that I have, maybe, and she puts every penny she makes into her kids? Is she gonna stop and go and pay somebody privately to test her when her family doctor is gonna say, nah, you don't have Lyme, you're fine? She's not, and so that's gonna go missed, or it's gonna progress until it turns into something else, and then she's gonna get her diagnosis. And I don't know, obviously not just single moms. I mean, it could happen to anybody. I'm just using this as an example. It shouldn't be a disease that you have to either leave the country or pay somebody privately to test you. And, I won the family lottery. I won the doctor lottery. I found somebody who could help me. Wow, I wasn't going to get emotional, and now I did. But what about the people that don't have that support? If we don't have this awareness, in our community and the medical community, how are we going to help people? So here's a really, really quick video. I know I said it was going to be quick last time, and then I went on and I talked because that's what I do. But there are stages of Lyme disease, just I guess like there's stages of cancer or other diseases. There just isn't the awareness for it. Okay, so really quickly, and hopefully I'm literally probably talking your ear off. I'm sorry. But just sharing this because maybe it reaches somebody that has all this stuff going on medically and they just don't have an answer, and they're just being told, it's in your head, it's not real. Because that's what I was told, and that was my story until, won that doctor lottery and found someone who figured out what was going on. So early stage Lyme, about 50% of people get a bullseye rash where they're bitten by a tick. This is a vector-borne illness, which means it's transmitted by ticks, the same way that malaria is transmitted by mosquitoes. It's not contagious. I could lick you from chin to forehead. You're not going to catch it from me. It is transmitted by ticks. Not that I would lick you from forehead to chin. I don't know why I said that, but anyway, same way that you can't catch malaria from somebody, you can't catch Lyme from somebody like that. So, okay, so bullseye rash, flu-like symptoms, lack of energy, fatigue, headache, muscle and joint pain, stiff neck, swollen lymph nodes. I mean, I can totally see how this would go missed in somebody, especially where they're kind of vague symptoms. I felt like I had mono in the beginning. My lymph nodes were really swollen, especially the one in the back of my neck. I had a lump the size of a toonie. I was just told by my doctor, oh, just watch it, you're probably fine. This was stage 1. It went missed. I guess in a lot of people, yeah, it does, because there's chronic Lyme out there. Okay, stage 2, so that's like 1 to 4 months after you're bitten. Kind of once it gets out of your blood and it goes into your system. I mentioned before, Lyme is a spirochete, spiral-shaped bacteria. It can dwell anywhere in your body. I've talked to people who have Lyme in their bone marrow. I've talked to people who have it in their brains and their hearts and their major organs. It can go anywhere. So extreme fatigue, rashes, migrating pain. It's an inflammatory disease, so it's not constant, right? Something that's going to put you in an inflamed state. You're going to have worse days. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. Just like somebody with MS or fibro, right? You're going to have days where you flare. You're going to have days where you don't feel so bad, which is another reason why it makes it so hard to pinpoint. Twitching muscles, severe or reoccurring headaches, fainting, poor memory, concentration problems, irritability, vision problems, internal buzzing feeling. You know, when you're trying to fall asleep and you're camping and there's a mosquito in your ear and it's like, you can't sleep, that in your whole body. Heart palpitations, panic attacks, mood disorders. Obviously, not saying Lyme is responsible for all these things. There can be other causes. This is just kind of like a symptom list of where it goes. I had a lot of these things and was told it's just in your head. You know, that's not a thing. These things aren't connected. And one of the things that happened to me kind of in the beginning was that I noticed that all these things were only ever happening at the same time. So, you know, I had, for me, the joint pain, it was in my SI joints in my back, and it was this burning, searing pain. And obviously, if you blow out your back, okay, that's a back injury, but like there was no real reason besides the fact that I was trying to figure skate as an adult, but shouldn't have had that ongoing pain with nothing kind of helping. You know, anti-inflammatory would help, sure, because it's inflammation. In my case, the cause of the inflammation, Lyme disease. And a lot of people, it's a bigger joint, like a knee or a shoulder or hip, that kind of thing. But I noticed that at the same time that my back was always acting up, I had this brain fog. I couldn't concentrate. My anxiety was worse. OCD through the roof. You know, I was diagnosed with ADHD, which now that I've gotten treatment for Lyme disease is magically not affecting me. That's weird. You know, my skin got really bad. I had these increasing food reactions. And again, learning now that, you know, as the Lyme got in there, the Lyme suppresses your immune system. My immune system basically got to a point where it freaked out and said, okay, everybody out. I couldn't eat anything. I literally became allergic to everything except for 4 foods. I was living off of kale and coconut oil because everything else made my eyes swell shut and my throat get tight. And yeah, my system just got so sensitized. Anyway, I'm getting off track. But these are obviously all things that can be from other things that could be wrong with you. These are just things that, I don't know, maybe if you're noticing they're all happening at the same time, there's a connection. And I realized that you know, your doctor is probably not going to go, yeah, weird, these things are all connected, because our medical system, I mean, we are lucky Canadians. Hey, we have free healthcare. And the way that our system works is, you know, you have a problem, you go to a specialist. And so if your symptoms all fit into this one box, awesome, we refer you off to this specialist. Where Lyme disease doesn't have a lot of awareness, it's not an accepted illness in Canada yet, there is no box to put Lyme people in. And so finding a Lyme literate doctor is, you know, it's hard. So anyway, sorry, I keep getting off track here. Stage 3 is when it's considered late stage Lyme. This is where I got to. This list is, you know, swelling in the pain in joints, numbing, tingling in the extremities, severe fatigue, insomnia, Bell's palsy, which means half of your face gets droopy. This happens to me. I'm not about to post a video of it. It's not pretty. It's embarrassing. Half my face looks like I'm having a stroke. This happens when I do, you know, if I'm exposed to something that makes the Lyme flare, something that feeds it, if I'm having a really bad inflammatory day, it's part of Lyme. Getting lost in common places, I'm going to come back and talk about that. Problem speaking, word retrieval problems, word blocks, also going to come back and talk about that. Migrating pain and symptoms, heart damage, pericarditis, meningitis, depression, panic attacks, bladder problems, your ears ringing, that was a big one for me, and feeling full, poor balance. When I'm in a flare, that's huge. Shortness of breath, rib and sternum soreness, fever, sweats, vertigo, another big one for me. Upset stomach, GI problems, yeah, burning and stabbing pains. So all these things, obviously one thing on the list, I'm not saying you have Lyme disease. I'm saying all these things are all inflammatory things that seem to happen at the same time. I mean, now that I'm getting better, I'm opening up, I'm talking about this. Word retrieval was a huge one for me. I'd be in the middle of a sentence trying to talk about a table, and I couldn't think of the word table. I would describe a flat surface that you put food on, you eat at, da-da-da. Couldn't think of the word table. You go to your doctor and you say this, and they're like, you're nuts. Well, no, okay, this was one of the symptoms that was happening to me. Getting lost in common places. At my very worst, I was driving home from the rink and didn't know where I was. Which is terrifying. And now that I'm getting better, I can talk about it. And hey, if this is happening to someone else and all these other things are happening, maybe this is what's happening to you. But in society today, you know, you tell somebody that and they say, oh, you're crazy, or well, you shouldn't be driving. And so we take away your license and we take away your ability to work and generate an income, and therefore take away your access to getting better from Lyme because, as I mentioned, not accepted in traditional medicine yet. So if you want to get better, then you're paying for private care, leaving the country, etc. Obviously, setting this video from a place where I'm getting better, this is not happening to me anymore, getting well, but if, you know, through this whole process, I'm realizing people are kind of asking questions and stuff, and if it's something that actually strikes a nerve with me, then it's something I need to talk about, because it means there's no awareness about it, and so it needs to be addressed. And I've gone on a lot longer than I meant to, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch on two other really quick points about how Lyme doesn't exist in Canada. Chronic Lyme doesn't exist in Canada. There's no billing code for it, so your doctor can't test for it, can't treat it beyond what's available for free, which usually catches the acute cases, which is right when you first get bitten. So it's funny, I was looking on the CDC website. This is reported cases of Lyme disease in the US in 2017. I don't know if you can see this lovely map. So it's funny, you know, the US border where this happens here is just apparently where Lyme stops, and it doesn't come into Canada at all. I think maybe these ticks that are infected hit the Canadian border and say, sorry, hey, oh, this is Canada, you guys are busy watching hockey and drinking Timmy's, I'm not going to infect you. So just leaving that point there. Really funny how this disease is in so many other countries, and yet it's not here yet. You know, kind of like how, I don't know how many of you own dogs. Lyme disease awareness for dog owners is huge. Your dog can get better access to treatment than most of us can, because, well, you have to pay for it. But the testing is more accurate. It's kind of scary. Anyway, that's my rant. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.